Shifting our focus now to Africa, where countries are uniting to demand reparations from their former colonizers. Yes, you heard that right. African leaders are meeting in Ethiopia this weekend to launch a new push for slavery and colonial reparations. As the African Union prepares for its 38th summit, the central topic will reportedly be a joint push for reparations. African leaders reportedly aim to define a unified vision for reparations, which includes financial compensation, a formal acknowledgement of historical wrongs, and comprehensive policy reforms. Well, the African Union's reparations agenda, adopted in 2023, seeks to address the lasting effects of slavery, as well as colonial exploitation of Africa's economic development and inequality. Beyond financial amends, the leaders are also expected to call for land restitution and the return of cultural artifacts that were looted during colonial rule. Discussions will also focus on combating economic inequality, racism, and Africa's marginalization in global affairs. But the push faces the risk of being stonewalled by former colonial powers, most of which have ruled out making amends for their historical wrongs. While the issue of reparations has gained momentum worldwide, so has the backlash. Many of Europe's leaders have opposed even talking about it. But the unwillingness to talk about it does not change facts. From the 15th to the 19th century, at least 12.5 million Africans were kidnapped, forcibly transported by and mostly to European merchants, and sold into slavery then. African Union's Economic, Social and Cultural Council has said that the debate on reparations needs to be addressed. The Council has said that the legacy of slavery that we see today in the form of racism and economic disparities between Africa and wealthy Western nations, it needs to be addressed. Africa's current debt crisis can also be traced back to African nations being saddled with heavy debts upon independence. Then there is the issue of climate change. It is also linked to colonialism. Africa is responsible for just a fraction of carbon emissions, but its fragile ecosystem have borne the brunt of global warming. And that is why the call for reparations have taken an important dimension today. Advocates of reparations say that they are more than just compensation at this point of time. You see, much of the debate around reparations, particularly in former colonial powers such as Britain and Portugal, focused solely on financial payments. But advocates say that making amends for the past actions can take many forms. African Union's Economic, Social and Cultural Council head, William Caro, has said, and I'm quoting him here, reparations are more than just compensation. It is about ensuring future generations inherit a world that acknowledges their past and propels them towards a brighter future, unquote. But 30 years since the AU's forerunner, the Organization of African Unity issued a declaration demanding reparations, there has been little progress. Just take these examples, for instance. In Portugal, which enslaved more Africans than any other nation, far-right party Chega has proposed charging the president with treason for suggesting there might be a need for reparations. Then in Britain, right-wing populist Nigel Farage has said that Prime Minister Keir Starmer would be weak, and that is if he engaged in talks on this issue of reparations. Lastly, in France, President Emmanuel Macron has ruled out reparations, calling for reconciliation instead. With the former colonizers unwilling to engage in a debate, is reparation and the justice of that possible ever?